Yo, welcome to the Mothership, where we discuss conspiracies, mysteries, the unknown, and things that go bump in the night, and all kinds of other weirdo stuff. But I'm LoFi Monk, and with me is Mr. SPG.
That's
Tonight
right.
we're
I'm
gonna
another weird one of those weirdos. Let's do it.
let's do it, dude. Yeah. So tonight we're gonna be talking about everything from Bigfoot to Skinwalkers, the Mothman to the Jersey Devil. We're going to delve deep into the fascinating legends of sightings of these elusive creatures. And we'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. Let's see. I see Ray, the gaming cyborg, in the chat. What's up, Ray? Bigfoot. Miss Sierra Rose can't be with us tonight, but she's here in the chat. What's up, Mothership Hype?
Yes.
But
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Oh, yes, man. There's cryptids all over the planet. We're going to share some videos with you later. You'll have to tell us what you think some of these things are in the videos. But besides that, I have to say, one thing is for sure. We know more about outer space than we know about the bottom of our oceans.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff going on from the dawn of time when we first set foot onto boats and tried to cross our oceans, man. There's been stories of krakens, giant squids, octopuses, all kinds of
dragons.
Yes, all kinds of cryptids and monsters living under the ocean, trying to take your ship down or take you off course. There's all kinds of those types of stories.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Lo-Fi?
Well, I mean, let's start with what is a cryptid, right? So cryptids are animals that are believed to exist, but but their existence hasn't been scientifically proven, right? And the study of these creatures is known as cryptozoology, which is often considered a pseudoscience because it relies on stories and claims that the scientific community has rejected. But like examples of cryptids are the Sasquatch, Loch Ness Monster, and Skinwalkers, things like this. Unlike biologists who use the established scientific methodology to identify these species, cryptozoology research they follow folklore and urban legends and eyewitness reports. And the existence of cryptids is usually subject of debate with the scientific community because some believe they're just products of human imagination or misidentification of known species, things like this. So like folklore has a huge part in a lot of this because like the folklore and storytelling, they've had such an impact on our perception of the unknown and the legends and myths surrounding cryptids. These stories have been passed down through generations. These tales offer a way to like kind of make sense of these unknown things and process our fears and anxieties and connect us to our cultural heritage. Even if we don't believe the existence of these mysterious creatures, the stories and legends continue to kind of captivate and inspire us, and they keep kind of fueling our curiosity and imagination. The power of the folklore and storytelling lies in their ability to create meaningful meaning of the unknown. Like when we don't understand something, we just kind of create our own reality around it, right? Like
we fill in the blanks.
We fill in the gaps, yeah. And it gives us a glimpse into the mysteries that surround us, you know. And a lot of times these things are just like some people believe it's a reflection of our society, you know. Cryptids such as Bigfoot and the Mothman, Skinwalkers, they often reflect our collective fears and the anxieties that we have as a society, you know. These creatures embody our deepest fears and uncertainties, and the legends and myths surrounding them kind of offer a way for us to process and make sense of the things around us that don't make sense. For example, Bigfoot and the Mothman are often associated with disasters and catastrophes.
Yes.
The Skinwalkers are often seen as a malevolent and dangerous being. By embodying our fears and anxieties, these cryptids become a way for us to confront and explore these feelings and offer a way to process our fears and anxieties about all the things around us, basically. And all these stories, like I said, have been passed down through generations and just kept going. But yeah, it's a lot of times it's just good fun. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's a whole bunch of them, but I want to give you just a little bit of info. A cryptid is only an animal that hasn't been discovered, photographed, researched, dissected. So, as an example, way back in the day, the giant panda was thought to have been a myth. It was a cryptid. Now, we all know of giant pandas today. We have them in our zoos and everything else. But the giant panda was a myth all the way up until the 11th of March, 1869. Meaning there was stories of the giant panda. These bears that ate bamboo and climbed trees and, all this stuff. People didn't believe it. They sent people out and they found it. So then the giant panda became a reality. And I think that a lot of these things that are cryptids today may be real, living beings, flesh beings. Some of them may not. The giant panda shook out to be one of them.
Right. And I think one of the more famous cryptids that everybody pretty much knows, and like Ray said at the beginning in chat, Bigfoot. Bigfoot is one of the most famous cryptids there is. So if you're not aware of who Bigfoot is, Bigfoot is a legendary cryptid, and he's said to inhabit the forests of North America. He's also known as Sasquatch. He's a mysterious creature described as large, hairy, ape-like being that stands between 6 and 10 feet tall. And despite many reported sightings, no concrete evidence has ever been found to prove Bigfoot's existence. Most people believe he's a myth. But however, enthusiasts continue to search for evidence of Bigfoot, and even some claim to have personal encounters with this creature. Whether it's real or not, the legend of Bigfoot continues to captivate and intrigue people to this day.
It does, man. Bigfoot is an interesting case. I'll give you my thoughts on Bigfoot. I'm sharing a screen with you real quick.
Sure.
What I figure is we can go ahead and look at this. So Bigfoot has been around for a very long time. There's the abominable snowman, the skunk ape of Florida. So many places around the world depict a large ape-like creature that walk around upright like we do, just to give you a little bit of backstory to this footage that I'm about to show you and play for you over and over again. Basically, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin were out looking for one of these creatures, and supposedly they found one and filmed one. This footage has been looked at multiple times. It's been slowed down, enhanced, and looked at. And I'm going to go ahead and play it for you now. What this is supposedly they were out at Bluff Creek, I believe it was, in California, and their horses started to act funny, and Roger pulled out his little camera, and he saw one of these beings. He tried to film it. He had to jump off his camera. He took off running. This is the end of the film. The actual beginning of the film is him running with the camera, and then he gets down by a log and he steadies it, and he took this footage. Now, if you zoom into this footage, you can actually see muscles rippling underneath, like the fur. It looks like a giant booty back there, but if you really zoom in, you can actually see muscle definition underneath this suit, if you want to call it a suit. And it's a female. It has breasts. When it turns its arms and it turns its whole body, you can see that it has large organic mammaries. It's got some breasts. And the booty sticks out. The booty sticks out a little bit. Now, they've went and researched and said that this is about 7 feet tall or 7.5 feet tall. They had to have weighed a hell of a lot. But what's interesting about Bigfoot is that people run out in the woods and try to find them and can't. If this type of a creature was flesh and blood and lived out in the woods, mated in the woods, crapped in the woods, died in the woods, you think we would be able to find them. Do you know what I mean? You think we would be able to find them. But we can't. So in my estimation, this might be a spiritual type animal or a dimensional being, much like the Native Americans tell us. The Native Americans, all Native Americans in the United States, every tribe has a word for Sasquatch. That's where the Sasquatch word comes from. Bigfoot is a completely made up term that was coined in California, as a matter of fact. But anyway, it's a very interesting cryptid. Many people have seen this thing. I have 2 sightings myself. I don't mind sharing with you.
Awesome.
I do. Now I wasn't face to face with this big gorilla or anything like that. But I'll explain what I saw. Are we on screen, LoFi, or no?
Oh, yep.
Okay. So all right. So I've had 2 Bigfoot encounters actually. One of them I can't tell you what it was. I did not get a good look at it. I ran. I was so scared. But we don't have bears in Michigan. So what this could have been, I don't know. But when I was very young, like 5 or 6 years old, my mom and dad had a station wagon, and it had the station wagon in the back that had the seats that you could sit on and look out the back window. Anyway, we were driving and we passed it was right outside of Schoolcraft, Michigan. We passed what they call Coopy's Woods, and there's a cornfield. There's a big gap between the edge of the woods and there's a big gap between the edge of Coopy's Woods and to the cornfield. And they irrigate in Michigan. They water their corn. There's giant machines that look like dinosaur bones, but it's all steel, and they shoot water everywhere. Anyway, as we drove by there, we went by that gap, and the corn wasn't super tall. It literally looked like a very large chimpanzee squatted down, digging in the dirt. And it stood up and looked at the car and went into the trees. And I was yelling at my mom, "Hey, a monkey, a monkey." She's like, "Yeah, great.
Whoa.
Great, shut up. I'm driving." You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But I got super excited because I saw a large monkey, man. Now, could it have been somebody in the service in a ghillie suit? Sure. I was 6 years old. Sure could have. But it's
That's
still
weird.
But it's still in my mind that I saw a giant chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Giant chimpanzees don't exist.
No, and not in that area. So
yeah. Now, years later, why are you playing a video, me? Jeff, you tell me where you were. All right. Anyway, so my second encounter was when I was a little kid in the 1980s. The 80s were a very different time. You could wake up early in the morning, not tell anybody where you were going, jump on a bike and ride 2 miles to the swamp down the road. That's what I did every Saturday morning. I did that.
Yeah.
Any morning I didn't have school, I did that. And you go collect turtles and all that stuff. But anyway, on both sides of the swamp there was heavy woods, and I was riding to the swamp, and my dog was following me this morning, and it caught a whiff of something and took off and started barking into the trees. I was pedaling my bike and I stopped and I turned and looked into the trees, and a large, bear-like frame came down the tree, knocking some branches down. And when it hit the ground, I heard my dog yip, and I was going the other direction. Now it took 3 minutes of me pedaling my bike, 4 minutes down the road, heart pumping, pedaling as fast as I could. And my dog, and I stopped because my dog hadn't caught up to me and I didn't know what was going on. So I stopped and my dog ran past me as I stopped. So the dog was chasing me as I was running. So I don't know what it was, but it was taking nice sized limbs down as it was coming down the tree. Bear hugged the tree and came down like a fireman's pole. That's my experience.
That's crazy. You never told me this before. So yeah. Wow.
It's nuts, dude. But I didn't stop and go, "Oh, there's a head. Oh, there was shoulders. Oh, there was," no, I saw something very large coming down a tree and got the F out of there, man. Scary situation, dude. But a lot of people have seen a lot of crazy stuff. And if just one of those people aren't misrepresenting what they saw, or just misidentifying what they saw, then it could be a reality. And the rabbit hole goes deep on Bigfoot, but I don't believe that Bigfoot is flesh and blood. I don't believe that he mates in the woods and has little kids in the woods. People have seen young Bigfoot. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know how they're seeing him. What I mean by that is, are we seeing into another dimension for a short time? Are we seeing back in time? Because supposedly we were all Bigfoots back in the day. I mean, if you go watch the Discovery Channel, we were.
Yeah. Kind of like evolution or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Like Lucy. There's a whole bunch of our family branching tree that supposedly died out, but it doesn't mean that it did. Look at the Selenia. I'm going to say the damn word wrong, but the seleniacanth fish. The last time they had a fossilized record of that fish was the dinosaur days. And as it turns out, one was caught off of the coast of Africa. So they weren't extinct for 35 million years. They're still around. And speaking of that, there's all kinds of stuff in our oceans as well. They believe the megalodon shark could still be around. And if that thing's in the ocean, man, you don't want to be in the ocean, bro. Have you seen Megalodon, the movie?
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. That's a big fish. But what are your thoughts on Bigfoot, Lo-Fi? You say you don't have any experiences, right?
I don't have any experiences, but it's one of those things where, like, when I was a kid, you hear these stories growing up of things in the woods that come out at night type thing. Like, you don't want to be out there. And it's not big, it's always some weird story about some creature in the tree. And I remember being young and my dad showing me Bigfoot. And I've always been fascinated by Bigfoot. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I want to believe. I'm waiting for some hard evidence to come out and be like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's like this video right here. Like, what year did you say it came out?
Oh man. Yeah. Let me pull something else up right quick and actually tell you, because I brought up the information of this. Basically,
Well, it's one of the most scrutinized pieces of film probably ever in history. Up there
yeah,
with
it is.
the moon landing and JFK's assassination.
Yes. Basically, what Robert Patterson and Bob Gimlin went to their graves saying that this wasn't faked. This was in the 70s. This was filmed, and both of them went to their grave saying that it was real, that they stumbled across it. And if Robert Patterson faked it, he did not inform Bob Gimlin. Now, if you think about this, okay, let's say that they went out there and faked it. Okay. Well, I don't believe Bob knew. They both were armed. Would you put some dude in a monkey suit and send him up into the ridge with your armed buddy and be like, hey, just walk natural till you go out of frame, like, and not tell your buddy? He could have shot him. I mean,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
so some of that tells me that, I don't think that they faked it. What did they actually film? I don't know. But if you do look into the footage and you pay attention, it does.
Especially in those days, it just seems like there would be a trail to you.
Yeah, true.
Somewhere, some shape or form.
Yep. Now, if you look into the controversy even more, though, there is a very large person that they could have put in the suit. Like, there it goes. The rabbit hole goes deep on all of this stuff, but
Sure.
both of them went to their grave saying that that they didn't fake anything.
Yeah.
And like I said, multiple. There are thousands of reports each year saying that people are seeing stuff like this. The skunk ape in Florida, all of these are related because they have to be the same creature that's being reported. They report a smell. There's tree knocks. There's whoops and hollers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about hunters that go off into the woods and never go hunting again after experiencing something like this. I mean, it's a paradigm shift, um, a paradigm shift for sure. To think something can't possibly exist, and then you become face to face with it, and it's a monster. I
Well, you
mean,
were telling me, and
go
I
ahead.
know we're gonna say this for later, but you were telling me about a story of someone being abducted for
Yes.
days, and that they, I guess, they escaped. And we'll get to that later on, but that's just the
Yeah.
idea of that is freaky,
Yeah,
dude.
man. So as it zooms in there, you can see this thing has breasts.
Yes, yeah,
You
I've
can't.
never noticed that before. I've
Yeah. You.
never, as many times as I've seen this growing up,
Yeah.
that's never been a detail that you
So
could
okay,
make out.
two cowboys go, hey, let's fake a Bigfoot sighting. Are they going to make a female suit?
Yeah, that's another thing about it that makes it even, because like in the end result, for all these years you've never been able to make that out. So it's not like, it didn't seem like, if you were trying to fake this, you would be thinking about little, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense that you would do that.
It's very weird, man. It's very weird the more you watch it and stuff. But you can see muscle under the, I mean, it's a very well built suit if it's a suit for the time. This is the
Well,
70s.
even the gait of the walk is something people have analyzed over
Yes.
and over again, and this is just,
That
it's
is
a very
absolutely correct.
strange, intriguing piece of footage.
But in 1924, Robert Ostman was supposedly abducted from British Columbia. Um, he was a logger that ended up going on vacation, and he got an Indian buddy or an Indian guide to take him, and they were all chatty Cathy. And he told him about some gold mines, some abandoned gold mines that were up there. So he thought, hey, I'll go on vacation and check out one of these mines and blah, blah, blah. I'll read the story in detail so I don't get details wrong, but he was basically abducted in his sleep, in his sleeping bag, carried up a mountain, and he was held hostage for a couple days by one of these creatures. And he's got a full report of all the stuff that happened and how he got away and all of the stuff. It's a wild, fascinating story if it's true. But he went to his grave saying that it was absolutely authentic. So, you know, it's incredible, man. You
Yeah,
know, uh, way back, uh, way back before our government admitted that the UFOs we're seeing in the sky are real, the UAPs they call them now, um, like they ridiculed people and said that that shit was impossible and all that stuff. So I take eyewitness accounts very serious. I really do. And you have to. I mean, if I can witness a crime and send you to death row off of my testimony, but I say something weird and you're like, oh, well, that, you know, I mean, I don't know, man. There's too many people experiencing this stuff for it not to be, you know, some level of it being legit. Now, like I was saying, I don't think Bigfoot is a living, like a flesh and blood animal that's mating in the woods and surviving, eating berries and stuff. I don't buy that. What it is, I don't know. I believe something is out there people are seeing. What are your final thoughts on Bigfoot, bro?
I think my final thoughts are that I hope that they find more evidence one day. But it's crazy to me that this is the most solid piece that anybody's been able to capture. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting to see more.
Yeah, if anybody is interested in modern day Bigfoot encounters, they do not need a shout out from me at all. But there's a YouTube channel called How to Hunt, and the man that runs the channel, he gets emails from people, and they email in their experiences, full blown stories. Some of them are anecdotes, some of them are actual uh like mini novels. It's very interesting how many people are experiencing this stuff on a regular basis and how many people's lives have been changed forever because of it and how many people refuse to go off into the woods now. There's an awful lot. So
Yeah.
anyway, the channel's called How to Hunt, and it's It's really, really cool. But back on the evidence thing you were just saying, though, the rabbit hole goes deep. You know how the scientific community will sometimes ignore archaeological evidence because it messes with a date or something.
Or just don't fit in. Yeah.
Correct. They've done multiple DNA samples and they've collected an awful lot of the Sasquatch DNA. And supposedly it is mitochondrial human and unknown. But the scientific community does not take that as real evidence. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they don't.
Right. It's not conclusive to them.
Correct. They don't acknowledge it. I'll put it that way. So Bigfoot is an interesting creature. Most definitely. So all right, man. What's your next one?
Let's talk a little bit. I know there's going to be quite a couple more interesting ones coming up, but let's kick off over to Skinwalker.
Awesome.
So Skinwalkers are cryptids from Navajo mythology, and they're believed to be supernatural beings with the ability to shapeshift into animals or humans. And the Navajo consider them to be dangerous and evil.
Yes.
And they're said to have like animalistic features such as glowing eyes or fur, and they're kind of described as being like having the power to curse or possess people or something like that. So many people in the southwest region of the United States believe in the existence of skinwalkers, and they've even have been numerous reported sightings and encounters over the years. Despite all this, there's been little concrete evidence, and the legend of Skinwalker continues.
It absolutely does. There's places named after them, like the Skinwalker Ranch, because people believe to have seen skinwalkers there. The translation is "it goes on all fours," is the translation for Skinwalker. The legend of the Skinwalker.
Yeah.
It's not well understood. I was trying to find the exact thing. Oh, the legend. Here we go. Skinwalker stories told by Navajo children may be complete life and death struggles that end in either Skinwalker or Navajo killing the other. Anyway, there's supposed to be a curse that started it. Back in the day, invading tribes would take other tribes as their slaves and stuff. And one set of the people that got enslaved cursed them and created the Skinwalker or whatever. It's very interesting how the legend goes and everything. But what is your take on the Skinwalker, LoFi?
So the first time I really heard about the Skinwalker was a story about the Skinwalker Ranch and the family that lived there, and just about this very large wolf-shaped figure kind of stalking them. And I've seen footage of like cameras outside of the ranch where there's the wolf where it like kind of seems to just move from place to place without moving. Like if that makes sense, they kind of just like pop in and out of existence.
Yeah.
It's a very strange thing.
It is, man. They're supposed to be able to shapeshift. They can shapeshift into people. They can shapeshift into animals. They can go on all fours. They can be upright. Very odd creature, man. But people believe in them, man. People believe in the Skinwalker and Skinwalker Ranch. People have witnessed shapeshifting. They've seen portals open with creatures that come out and change shape. Very, very, very odd stuff, man. On reservations, if somebody like disappears for a while and they come back acting not normal, they can believe that they've been influenced or they might be a Skinwalker. Like it's pretty wild, man. Non-native interpretations of Skinwalker stories typically take the form of partial encounter stories on the road, where the protagonist is temporarily vulnerable and then escapes. It's very much folklore at this point, like you were mentioning earlier, on how we're very much afraid of the other and what's in the dark, you know. But yeah, that is definitely the Skinwalker, man. There's so many cryptids. The Michigan Dog Man is very, very similar to a Skinwalker or a Bigfoot. Allegedly witnessed in 1887 in Wexford County. The creature is described as a 7-foot tall, blue-eyed or amber-eyed bipedal canine-like animal with the torso of a man and a fearsome howl that sounds like a human scream. According to the legends, the Michigan Dog Man appears in a 10-year cycle that falls on years ending in 7. Sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula. That's where I lived. And in maybe I saw the dog or the Dog Man, dude. I don't know.
Maybe digging in the dirt. Yeah.
Yep. Even a song was recorded about him in pop culture. Go ahead.
What song was it?
It's when disc jockey Steve Cook at WTCM FM recorded a song about the creature and its reported sightings. It doesn't say. What's the song's called? Oh, the Cook song.
The Cook song. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Sorry. No. The song is titled The Legend.
The Legend. Okay.
Yeah. 1987 disc jockey song. But anyway, that is a long time, man. 1887. The first Dog Man was reported in 1887. I think the further you go back in history, and those reports are the ones that interest me a lot, because they are not influenced by pop culture at all.
Yeah. I think something you said, something you were like, what you were just saying was just triggered a thought in my head, and it reminded me of stories like the Blair Witch and how they were able to use social media and kind of the same techniques of creating an urban legend to build up their first movie. It was a weird thing because people didn't know. I remember there was a lot of question like, are those people really alive? Or no one knew back then until they came to accept their award on stage for the movie. But yeah, they did a very good job. It's just it's interesting how these legends build up, right?
It is, man. And the truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. As a matter of fact, the Cook song, the disc jockey, Steve Cook, the legend, basically he made it up. He made the song up, meaning he made up a song about, like, he was creating a legend. But what he messed up on is that it was actually first reported by Native Americans. So he stumbled across something that was real, even though he thought he made it up. His quote, "I made it completely up from my own imagination as an April Fool's prank for the radio and stumbled my way into a legend that goes all the way back to Native American times."
Wow.
Can you imagine that? Making a joke, and then finding out, holy shit, that's happened? Like,
yeah.
It's just funny, man. Yeah. Talk about it, man. I mean, like the Great Panda, there's real stuff that just hasn't been discovered yet. Like meet Homo florensis, the Hobbit. 60,000 years ago, diminutive beings dwelled on the Indonesian island of Flores alongside Komodo dragons. And I wouldn't want to be alongside Komodo dragons being a big guy.
Nothing.
Let alone being a little dude. Like, forget that. That'd be literally like living with dragons, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, for real. But, all right. So alongside Komodo dragons, pygmy stigons, and real-life rodents of unusual size, the now extinct humans, known scientifically as Homo florensis, and popularity as the hobbits, stood less than 4 feet tall with brains 1/3 the size of living people. Yet they made stone tools, butchered meat, and somehow crossed miles of ocean to colonize their tropical home. The tallest one they found among them was less than 4 feet tall, less than 1 meter.
Wow.
That's a real life. Less than 60,000 years ago, they were running around on that island. Like they could be running around somewhere in the Amazon. Like there
Yeah.
are still places that are not touched by humans. Not everywhere is spoiled.
True.
What do you think about these things, man?
Anything's possible. I mean, that's one of those things like we stumbled onto that could change history.
Yes. Yeah. And believe it or not, I believe that our civilization has risen and fallen many, many times.
Sure.
And the only history we know is what we know. And what we don't know could fill libraries compared to what we do.
Yeah, like you said earlier, we know more about outer space than we do our own ocean.
Yep. Absolutely, man. So there could be megalodons running around down there. We just don't know. We're going to show you a video here shortly that has something that will just blow your mind. Looks like an alien in the ocean. It's incredible. But yeah, so Homo florensis, they were literally hobbits. They were tiny people who had tiny brains and made tiny tools and lived full lives. Incredible. There's another cryptid called Mokembe Mbembe in the Republic of the Congo. And this is legit. It's like a hippo, but it's supposed to have a neck like a brontosaurus. It is not a brontosaurus, but it is sort of like a hippo with a long neck. They believe it's real. If you go into the heart of the Congo and you talk to native tribes and say Mokembe Mbembe, they'll go, last week we saw it over there. Like, they'll point you to the direction of it. They've sent people into the bush to go find this creature. National Geographic has spent money. Discovery Channel has spent money. So this is one cryptid that could be real. If you guys want to research it, it's called Mokembe Mbembe. And it is absolutely astounding.
Yeah. Yeah. A very cool story. Another one's the Mothman. The Mothman is a cryptid that first gained notoriety in the 1960s. So this one's kind of crazy because it was seen by multiple people across this city. It was in the town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It was described as a large winged creature with red eyes. The Mothman was said to have terrorized the town and has been associated with a number of mysterious events, including a bridge collapse that killed dozens of people. The legend of the Mothman has inspired numerous books, movies, documentaries, and it's so many stories. The Mothman prophecies, things like this. But yeah. So, you know, a lot of people believe it's a real creature. Other things that it might be misidentified bird or some other animal, but or simply, you know, a figment of people's imaginations.
Yep, they tried to blame it on a big owl, on some other birds. Go ahead.
But yeah, one of the most famous sightings of the Mothman occurred in actually in Point Pleasant, of course, in 1966 by two young couples that were driving near an abandoned TNT factory when they spotted a large creature with glowing red eyes standing in front of their car. The creature had wings and it was described as being over 6 feet tall. So this was a big, like it wasn't anything small. Yeah, it was huge. And the couples tried to drive away, but the creature followed them and even chased them at speeds of up to 100 miles an hour.
Swooped over their car multiple times.
Yeah, the sighting was reported to local authorities. It gained widespread media attention and leading to many more reported sightings of the Mothman. And in the following months, a lot of people started thinking that the Mothman represented some kind of doom or something bad that was going to happen, a bad omen.
Yeah, that was after the bridge collapse. Somebody reported that 10 minutes before the bridge had collapsed, that killed a bunch of people. It was a big travesty that happened in the town. But people reported seeing the Mothman on top of the bridge right before the collapse. So they blamed the Mothman.
He caused it, yeah. Or she whatever.
Yep. Some people believe that the Mothman caused it, and others believe that it was there as a warning or an omen. And whenever you see the Mothman or the Mothman comes out, something bad is going to happen in Point Pleasant, supposedly.
Yeah. So
The description was a slender, muscular man about 7 feet tall with white wings, and said that she was unable to discern its face due to the hypnotic red glow of its eyes. Creepy.
Wow. Yeah.
Creepy, bro.
Yeah, it always makes me think of what's that scientist from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the fly one?
Oh, yeah. Baxter Stockman.
That's him. Baxter Stockman.
He's one of my favorites.
But the Jersey Devil, man. You want to tell the story of the Jersey? This is a creepy story.
Dude, the Jersey Devil is kind of nuts. All right. So, the story of the Jersey Devil began in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey in the early 18th century. I don't know if you know what the Pine Barrens are.
And nothing good starts out in the Pine Barrens.
No, never. In the pines. Okay, so the story of the New Jersey Devil, or the Jersey Devil, began in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey in the late 18th century. According to legend, a woman known as Mother Leeds found herself pregnant for the 13th time. 13th.
Yeah, lucky number 13.
Yeah, man. So she found herself pregnant for the 13th time and was furious about it. She cursed the unborn child, proclaiming that it would be a devil. On one stormy night, the child was born with wings, a goat-like head, and a forked tail. It flew up the chimney and into the woods, where it was said to have lived and terrorized the people of the region for years to come. The creature was said to have a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream that would chill anyone to the bone. Over the years, there have been many sightings and encounters with the Jersey Devil, and the legend has become deeply ingrained in New Jersey's folklore. Some people believe that the creature still roams the Pine Barrens to this day, while others dismiss the story as a fairy tale. Despite the skepticism, the story of the Jersey Devil remains a fascinating part of New Jersey's history and continues to captivate and intrigue people to this day. And people go out and go looking for this thing. Ghost hunters and other cryptozoologists. I do that with quotations because how do you research something that doesn't exist? I mean, it's kind of hard to do, but somebody found the giant panda. They weren't a cryptozoologist, were they? I don't know. Interesting stuff, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's well, I mean, like we're the footage of the ocean that we're about to look at. It's like there's tons of stuff out there that we haven't seen yet.
Absolutely. Do you want me to read a little bit about this Robert Ostman guy real quick, and then we can jump into the video?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Okay, so this happened in 1924. Robert Ostman, in the summer of British Columbia, Canada. Location near the Toba Inlet. Now, this is observed words from Robert Ostman. I have always followed logging and construction work. This time, I had worked for 1 year on a construction job and thought a good vacation was in order. BC is famous for lost gold mines. One is supposed to be at the head of the Toba Inlet. Why not look for this mine and have a vacation at the same time? I took the Union Steamboat to Lund, BC. From there, I hired an old Indian to take me to the head of the Toba Inlet. This Indian was a very talkative old gentleman. He told me stories about the gold brought out by the white man from his lost mine. This white man was a very heavy drinker, spent his money freely in saloons, but he had no trouble getting more money. He would be away a few days and then come back with a bag of gold. But one time he went into his mine and never came back. Some people said a Sasquatch had killed him. At that time, I had never heard a story of Sasquatch. So I asked what kind of animal he called a Sasquatch. The Indian said they have hair all over their bodies, but they are not animals. They are people. Big people living in the mountains. My uncle saw the tracks of one that were 2 feet long. One old Indian saw one over 8 feet tall, he was told. I told the Indian, I don't believe in their old fables about mountain giants. It must have been some thousands of years ago, but not nowadays. The Indian said, there may not be many, but they still exist, pointing a finger at him. We arrived at the head of the inlet at 4 p.m. I made camp at the mouth of the creek. The Indian was in no hurry. We had to wait for the high tide to go back. That would be about 7 p.m. I tried to catch some trout in the creek, but no luck. The Indian had supper with me, and I told him to look out for me in about 3 weeks. I would be camping at the same spot when I came back. He promised to tell his friend to look out for me too. I spent most of my forenoon looking for a trail, but found none except for a hogback running down to within about 100 feet of the beach. So I swamped out a trail from there. Got back to my camp at 3 p.m. This afternoon, I made up my pack to be ready for in the morning. My equipment consisted of one 30-30 Winchester rifle. I had a special homemade prospecting pick, axe on one end, and a pick on the other. I had a leather case for this pick, which fastened to my belt. Also, my sheath knife. If you can't tell, this is full of details.
Yeah, like this guy says that it's just large, hairy people. That's something different.
It is.
That's another way to look at it.
Well, the Indians do think that they're a spiritual being, or some tribes believe that they are people. They actually have different names for them. It's actually wild. If you ever go to the How to Hunt channel and listen to some of those, he gets emails from natives all the time, Native Americans. So, okay. Let's see. He stopped and he bought some supplies. I'm going to skip through this a little bit, handpick a little bit more. He had breakfast. He made up his pack. He started with his hogback, his pack, blah, blah, blah. Must have been up near 1,000 feet. There was the most beautiful view over the islands in the strait. Tugboats with long booms and fishing boats going in all directions. A lovely spot. I spent the following day prospecting around, but no signs of material. So the following morning, he starts out and goes about his day. I'm going to get to where he gets picked up. I found a fair campsite that night, but moved on the next morning. It was a very hot day. There's so much to this story.
There's a lot of detail. Like you said, he accounts for his whole trip.
Okay, so the first weird thing is that night I filled up my magazine and my rifle. I still had one box of 20 shells in my pack, besides a magazine and 6 shells in my coat pocket. That night, I laid my rifle under the edge of my sleeping bag. I thought a porcupine had visited me the night before, and porkies like leather. So I put my shoes in the bottom of my sleeping bag, he says. The next morning, my pack sack had been emptied out. Someone had turned the sack upside down. It was still hanging on the pole from the shoulder straps as I had hung it up there. Then I noticed 1 half-pound package of prunes was missing. Also, my pancake flour was missing, but my salt bag was not touched. Porkies always look for salt, so I decided it must be something else than porkies. He looked for tracks, didn't see much. He climbed up on
definitely not gonna flip your backpack upside down while it's hanging from a pole either, though.
Okay, so I intended to make a new campsite the following day. Here's where it gets crazy, and I'll skip ahead again. I hated to leave this place. I had to fix it up so nicely, but so we found a new campsite with spring water and everything, and he bedded down for the night. This night, it was cloudy and looked like it might rain. I took special notice of how everything was arranged. I closed my pack sack. I did not undress. I only took off my shoes, put them in the bottom of my sleeping bag. I drove my prospecting pick into one of my cypress trees so I could reach it from my bed. I also put the rifle alongside me inside my sleeping bag. I fully intended to stay awake all night to find out who my visitor was, but I had fallen asleep. I was awakened by something picking me up. I was half asleep. And at first did not remember where I was. As I began to get my wits together, I remembered I was on this prospecting trip and in my sleeping bag. My first thought was it must be a snow slide, but there was no snow around my camp. Then it felt like I was tossed on horseback, but I could feel whatever it was walking. I tried to reason out of my mind what kind of animal this could be. I tried to get my sheath knife out. I couldn't cut my way out, but I was in an almost sitting position, and the knife was under me. I could not get a hold of it, but the rifle was in front of me. I had a good hold of that, and I had no intention of letting it go. At times, I could feel my pack sack touching me and could feel the cans in the sack touching my back. After what seemed like an hour, I could feel we were going up a steep hill. I could feel myself rise every step. What was carrying me was breathing hard and sometimes gave a slight cough. Now I knew this must be one of the mountain Sasquatch giants the Indian told me about.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was in an uncomfortable position. Anyway, I'm not going to read all this, bro. I would suggest you guys go check out this story. Make a long story short, he had.
Maybe we'll take a deep dive into this another time because, dude, he has quite the journey. Yeah,
and it's very, very detailed. This guy never recanted. He said this was real. He was literally stuck in a cave with a family of Sasquatches for 2 days, supposedly. The only way he escaped was by letting the adult Sasquatch eat his chewing tobacco, and it fucked him up. He was able to run, and he was running down. He was running down the mountain, and this thing was full tilt running behind him. He turned and cracked a few shots off over its head to get away. He ran down the mountain, and when he got back,
this needs to be a movie. This needs to be a movie.
He was a week late from reporting in, and when he reported in, he told this story. Anyway, Robert, or let me get his full name here. Albert Ostman account. It is an amazing story. But we've got a video to share with you guys and to go through some incredible weird things caught on camera. We would like to hear from you and what you think these things are. I think this stuff is incredible and looks amazing. Let me I'm going to skip ahead of those the audio part, if that's all right, LoFi.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yep, sure. We don't need audio for this. So you have to let us know what this stuff is, okay? Because we have no idea. And one of them is incredible, and it shows something under the ocean that may be an alien. I don't know. Check this out, though. So this is a high tide coming in. You're going to see a black object that's going to be pointed out at the bottom. It looks like a large tentacle or a whale, except when it actually comes into focus more and moves out of frame. It doesn't look like a whale anymore. Watch this black mass. Now remember, that's like a pier. Like that's a big object out there in the water.
Yeah. It looks like some sort of, like you said, like some sort of tentacle or something, or an eel.
So watch. This is where it gets incredible. Watch it move. Look at that.
Like a big slug.
Yeah. Now, I guess it could be an exhausted whale maybe, but it didn't quite look like a whale when it started to move. Do you know what I mean, LoFi? What do you think? Do you think that's a whale?
It kind of looked like it was whatever it is fighting against the current, and then finally it just like the current comes in and it slides with the waves.
Well, Ray thinks it's an eel.
An eel, yeah. That's a giant.
Now look at this. Eel. Look at this. This thing looks like a drone. This thing is supposed to be alive. It acts like a drone. It is investigating the camera right now. I can't stress this enough. This thing is investigating the camera. Watch this thing. This is real.
Like you said, it transforms.
This will blow your mind. I have no idea what this is. This is in the depths of our ocean. It is inspecting the camera. It looks like a drone. No problem. No big deal. Now watch. It's about to morph. It's changing its shape, size, everything. And you think, oh, it's going to disappear or something. That's weird. No. Keep watching. Run away. It gets weirder. Weirder.
And now it's going to light up.
It lights up. It comes and looks at the camera. And then watch what it does. Like, if this is CGI, this is the best CGI I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And then look, it tears apart. As it leaves the right side of the screen, it tears itself apart in two. And look, it separates. Poof. What is that, bro? What is that? It
That
starts
is,
off like a drone. I don't get that.
yeah, yeah. We
And
don't.
hey, Ray, I know you like to make fun of Anthony, but you're gonna have to tell him that his relatives were looking for him. I don't know what these things are, man.
These weird ocean cave people.
Now it looks like they might be like spider monkeys or something, but like, no, man, they're not. They're not monkeys.
They look like half rat, half human. Are they in the water?
Yeah, some are in the water.
They're not trying to run away or attack these people.
No, man, it's so weird, bro. So weird. Cave bears. 2 bears, 1 cave.
Care Bears.
Oh, Care Bears. I thought it said cave bears. Yeah,
No,
look at those legs. Look at those legs. Those ain't monkey legs, are they?
No. That's what I'm saying. They kind of look like rodents.
Now, I think Jeff shouldn't have squatted so hard in the ocean. That's what I think.
Yeah, this is I think this is some sort of carcass.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a whale. I do. It is large and nasty.
Or like it could be some kind of whale we've never seen before.
Correct. Yeah. Because there's got to be more species of all kinds of stuff we ain't never seen. But it's the other side that's more interesting. Now, is that a tusk? Is that a bone? What is that protruding out? I get the head there. That could be a skull of a whale. You know, the beak there. But I don't know what that bone-looking thing is, you know?
Yeah. Very odd. Very big. Oh, man.
Yeah, that kind of looks like an eye socket, but who knows? Who knows?
Now, I think it's cool. This one. Yeah, I think this is the one with the, like I was saying, from that laboratory.
Right, you don't think that big thing was real? We were looking for a place to sit when we saw some people looking at something. We didn't know what it was. We joked that maybe it was something from Plum Island. Check this out, Ray. Pow!
Let me take it off of full screen so we get a better look.
Yeah, look at that. That thing is ugly, bro. That thing is ugly. It looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle raccoon. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, like some sort of like dog.
It's got a weird beak, bro. It's got a beak. It's got a beak nose and some teeth, man. I don't know. I wouldn't want that thing biting me on me. That's all I'm saying.
It's a dog turtle.
A dog turtle. Rat boy.
Yeah. But this is said to come from Plum Island, where there's some laboratory there where that people think they do strange bio experiments.
Yep, Plum Island. They believe that's where Lyme disease came from.
Yep.
Believe it or not. So here's a clip. Now this is supposed to be some kind of organic snake or eel type creature swimming, or do you think that is just a bunch of organic debris? What do you think, LoFi?
Do
you think that thing's alive, or do you think that's just debris?
I mean, there's natural occurrences, but that's just there's too much.
Too much.
No,
too
that's
much,
something.
Too much form to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now,
they've supposedly seen those type of wiggly worms like in space and in our atmosphere.
It's a snow
snake.
Not
this exactly, but yeah, check this one out, Ray. Ray, you tell me what this is, bro. I don't know what these spines are that are coming out of the neck of this creature, but I guess I could understand if it's like gills that are decayed, but I don't know. It looks like spines, bro, or like spurs. And look, this guy kicks it. It's real. That eyeball looks fake as shit, but Watch him kick this thing. It's real material. Look at that thing, man. That thing looks like a dragon, bro. Look at that thing. Looks like a dragon. Probably smells funny.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Look at this optical illusion or water spout. Now, I know what that is. It's just like a storm on the horizon, but looking at that picture there, somebody could literally freak out by seeing that on the horizon. Look at that though. That looks so cool.
Like some kind of three-headed beast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like a literal kraken. Cracking them. Yeah, the kraken. I think there's just a couple more here, but it's so fascinating, man. The world is so much stranger than you give it credit for. Trust me.
Well, you imagine 500 years ago being in a ship out at the ocean and seeing something like this. You know?
Oh, I'd poop a little.
Yeah. Turn back.
Absolutely, man. I think the best clip though was that thing in the air of underwater that split. That
was
boggles my mind, because that would be some of the best special effects ever. I don't buy it. So this is deep under the ocean. Look at this giant mass floating above this fucking camera. They didn't get a good picture of it, but it was massive and it had like arms out. So they're gonna show a picture of what it, like a representation. Yeah. That thing would be massive.
That's not scary at all.
Yeah. And then look, man, they creep down to the edge of a cliff, and here's a face looking up at them from the bottom of the ocean. Just some creepy, creepy, creepy stuff, bro.
It's the Slender Man's cousin, Swimmer Man.
Oh no, that's Osama bin Laden's cousin. Hadn't been laid.
hadn't been laid.
Yep. Or who Mama bin Nobbin? You never know. Who Mama bin Nobbin? Oh man, yeah, interesting footage, bro. Very interesting. Okay, here's the last one. Look at this sea creature. This is alive. It's the real spaghetti monster, bro. That thing is alive. It isn't like a plant or something.
That's what it looks like. Is like some sort of plant, like a massive roots.
Yeah, bro. There's so much weird shit on our planet, bro. So much weird shit on our planet that we were never meant to be checking out up close.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. So that's it, man.
Whoops. I went to clicking too much. Well, but yeah, man. Yeah, there's so many things that we have yet to discover. There's so much stuff in the unknown, and we've explored the world of cryptids tonight. And we talked about Bigfoot, Skinwalkers, and Mothman, and we discussed lore and the reported sightings of these creatures, and considered the various theories and beliefs surrounding them. One of the common themes that kind of emerged from our discussion is how the power of folklore and storytelling is like played a part in our shaping our perceptions of the unknown. These legends and myths surrounding cryptids have been passed down through generations and continue to captivate and intrigue us to this day, whether we believe in these creatures or not. There's really no denying their enduring appeal and fascination to us. Another theme that kind of came up was the way that these cryptids reflect our fears and anxieties as a society. We talked about Mothman and how people either thought he was the cause of calamity or a sign of bad things to come. Ultimately, whether we believe in the existence of these cryptids or not, though, they continue to come up and make us wonder about just those bumps in the night, like we talk about, the things that we can't see in the dark. And one day maybe they'll come to light. We encourage all of you, who all our listeners and viewers, to share your own stories and thoughts on the topic and continue exploring the mysteries and unknown aspects of our world. You got any closing thoughts, SPG?
Oh man, just it takes one of these stories to be true, one of these people to not be full of shit. And I have to say, man, there is unexplained things on this planet, and for people to discount Bigfoot, for people to discount Mokembe Mbembe, the Loveland frog, I suggest you guys look up the Loveland frog. But for real though, like, to discount all of these things, man, I think is short-sighted. I really do. Because I don't know too many people personally that run around making stuff up all the time.
Right.
So there you go, man. I'm just saying, give somebody the benefit of the doubt to at least hear them out. Take the story, absorb it, or don't. But I think we should have an open mind for some of these things, because let's not forget that the great panda was once a cryptid as well.
Most definitely. We appreciate all y'all for joining us, coming to hang out and listen to us talk about the weird and unknown. And we hope you join us again for our next episode. That'll be 2 weeks from now. And come check out SPG's channel. And we like to hang out and game and play silly games, joust and whatnot. And
matter of fact, tomorrow we're playing some Among Us. LoFi, what are you doing next?
I will be doing, the next big thing I'm doing is Saturday night. We'll be doing CGTV game night. So yeah, come check us out. Come check out my channel. Appreciate everybody for dropping in, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.